everybody. Welcome to RPM, Rock and Pop Mandolin, your site for learning classic rock and pop songs on this wonderful little 8-stringed instrument. Today we're looking at a really cool song that's fairly simple, only 4 chords, but it involves some finger picking. That's right, finger picking on the mandolin. That is not something that you see very often, but in order to play this song as well, as close to the original as possible, you want to do some finger picking with your mandolin. So you could play it just with the basic chords, but I'm going to show you how to finger pick that little intro that I did off the top of this video. But first, before we get into that, a little bit of business. If you're new here, please hit that little subscriber button, that red button on the way out. Thanks for joining us and checking us out. Same story if you are a returning subscriber. Thanks for coming back. We really appreciate your support, but leave us a like if you like this video. Also, check out some of our links down below. We have a Patreon link down below and some affiliate links down there as well, including Sweetwater and Amazon, where you can check out some of the instruments that I use and some of the equipment that I use. Of course, I get a small commission for that. If you check out our Patreon and come and join us over there on patreon.com, you can take part in monthly jam sessions and maybe even get individual lessons with me every month. Check that out at patreon.com. The links are down below. But that's enough business. Let's take a look at this song called Renegades by Ex-Ambassadors here on RPM. All right, Renegades by Ex-Ambassadors is a cool song. Came out just a few years ago, 2015, making it one of the most contemporary songs on this channel. It is relatively simple, as I said at the start, only 4 chords throughout the entire song, but at times those chords are finger-picked or arpeggiated, as you might say. Arpeggiated means picking out the notes individually to chords, so I'm going to show you that. But first, let's start off with just the basic chords to this song, then I'll show you how I do the finger-picking part as well, okay? So here are the chords to the song. It's just B minor, D, A, and G. Okay, and I'm playing that B minor chord like this. It's the 4th fret here of the G, and the 4th fret of the D, 5th fret of the A string. All right, I'm not worrying about that E there. I'm just worrying about these 3 strings. So there's a B minor chord. Then I'm just sliding up here like that to get a D chord voicing, all right? That is a different D chord voicing than maybe the ones that you are used to normally, but I think it works really well with this song, as this little note here kind of moves up the scale a little bit. It goes from B minor to this D note here as well, okay? That really works well for this chord progression. So here it is, the D chord. That starts off with the D note, which is the 7th fret of the G string right there. And I'm using my 3rd finger for this one. I'm using my 1st finger here at the 4th fret of the D string, and 2nd finger there, 5th fret of the A string. So actually it's got 2 of the same notes as the B minor chord. The only one that's really changing is this finger here. All right, actually this finger too. It goes from there up to there like that, okay? But you can keep that 2nd finger just locked down on that high D note. All right, so it goes like that. You see, very easy little chord change to get. So B minor to D. Then we're going down to an A chord. All right, and the A chord I'm using is this one here, which is 2nd fret of the G string, 2nd fret of the D, 4th fret of the A string. Okay, I'm not worrying about that high E string for much of this song. All right, so I'm hitting that A voicing. You can also do the open A voicing if you like, with just these 2 notes held down. That'll work as well, but I find, again, for the movement in this chord progression, I really like having those 3 notes employed there on the A string. Watch, it goes B minor, and then to D. Now I'm going there, okay? I'm moving down to that A chord. So like this. You can either catch it like that with your 3rd finger, or you can do what I do sometimes and just use my pinky finger in there as well. Okay, and the pinky is kind of also muting that E string too. See? Can't hear that E string. So it's just catching these 3 strings. So again, B minor chord, D chord, A chord, and now you're going to a G chord, like that. And I'm using the open G, because I like having that note down there, move down that little scale pattern there. So from that A chord, you see how that works nicely? So that's the G chord with the second fret of the A string and the third fret of the E. Although, again, you don't really have to play that E note. You can just play these three strings for that G chord if you want, okay? All right, and the strumming pattern through the song with these chords goes... Notice I'm hitting that A string with my pinky here. I find it personally easier to do, but you could, if you wanted to do it like that, that's fine as well. So let's try it like that. Yeah, see, I find it's a little harder for me to catch that A chord when I'm using that finger as opposed to this one. So here we go. B minor, D, A, G. And that's it. That's the progression throughout the song. The only 4 chords you will need in the song. Now, the strumming pattern there, though, was quite cool and really a bit different. And they do change the strumming pattern up throughout the song. So you have to have a listen to the original track by X Ambassadors if you want to hear how the chords go in Renegades. All right, but here I'm just doing, I'm going 1, 2. So I'm going down, down, up, down each time. And I'm emphasizing those first down beats. So, you see that? You go down, down, just before you change chords. You do that, and you catch that next chord with down beats as well, or down stroke. So I'll go slowly. See that? So I'm doing that up, down on the B minor just before I go to the D, right? And then same thing from the D to the A and the G. See? I think I prefer that G chord there without using that high E string. Okay, so that is the chord progression throughout most of the song. That's a good one for you to practice, moving your chords around as well, too. If you are a beginner or an intermediate player, practice those chords. And also, I'm also doing a little bit of a muted chord strike there. You might hear it. It's really fast. It goes in between chords like this. I'll do that slowly. You're almost pulling your fingers off the fretboard of your left hand when you're doing that up and down movement. Listen to that. You hear how I did that? It really works when you do that D. When you go to the A, right? It gets your hand in a nice position to catch that A chord when you do like that. Again. All right, that is the chord progression for the song. B minor, D, A to G. Okay, let's take a look at that little finger picking pattern that I did at the beginning of this video. It's also played on the guitar in the original track by the X Ambassadors on their CD, and it's played in the middle of the song a bit as well during sort of an instrumental breakdown in the track Renegades. So what is it? Well, it's utilizing those same chords that I showed you before, but this time you are using your right hand in a different way. You're going... Okay, that's a little tricky, isn't it? And it might take a lot of practice with your right hand technique. I'm holding my pick and using these fingers as well, or this finger as well, in kind of a little claw pattern. I think on the guitar this is known as Travis picking, right? It's called Travis picking, and it employs kind of both the pick and your fingers. It's a tricky little device or tricky little skill to learn. I can do it because I've done it on the guitar for many years, but if you're new to the mandolin or you haven't done it before, then you're going to have to work on it, all right? So what happens here is we have that B minor chord, all right? Just like I showed you before. But now I'm hitting that first note there, 4th fret of the G. I'm hitting that with my pick, and I'm holding the chord down, and I'm catching that D note at the 5th fret there, the A. I'm catching that with my second finger here, right? And then I'm coming down. So I'm coming down. So I'm using only those two, this finger and my pick, but I'm going. So after I come off that D with my right hand, second finger, then I'm catching that 4th fret note there on the D string, and then hitting that 4th fret on the G as well. Watch again. Okay, like. And it's that pattern that you use for all of these chords, all right? That same pattern. So low, high, and then the middle one, and then low, high again. It goes like this. See, now I did the same thing with the D chord. I'm catching that note there, the D note, 7th fret of your G string, with my pick, and I've locked down on that chord now, and I'm catching that upper D as well with my second finger on my right hand once again, like this. And I'm doing the same pattern. I'm coming down on that note as well, right? 4th fret of the D string. So again, like that. You see that? Then I'm going to the A. All the same pattern on your right hand. You're going low to high and picking that middle string, and then low to high again. Okay, so one more time on the B minor. And then the A. So that's 2nd fret here of the G string up to the 4th fret, the A, and then 2nd fret of the D string, and then low, high again. And then to the G, I'm just going open G here to that 2nd fret of the A, and then your open D in the middle. Like that. Okay, so let's play the pattern slowly at first. Okay, so from the B minor, D, A, G. And you're going a little bit fast with it. You're kind of rushing that a little bit. That part there, you're kind of rushing. You're pausing a little. Remember that strumming? You're going to keep that sort of same rhythm with your picking here now. So a little bit of an emphasis on those first two notes, and then you come a little bit faster with the last few. So like that, okay? So practice that little pattern. Slow this video down if you have to, if you want to watch it slowly and really learn my right hand picking technique. It's really not that difficult if you practice with it. It really only employs your picking hand, your pick being held there, and then this little claw finger grabbing other notes while you're doing the same, while you're, after you pick the note with your first fingers here. So, see, like a little claw. Right to the B minor. Good luck with that. Have some fun with this song. It's really a lot of fun, and people will be impressed, I think, if they see somebody actually using Travis picking or finger picking on the mandolin, because it is very rare. You don't see people doing that much on this instrument, and I really don't know why, because if you get the hang of it, it sounds pretty cool. All right, so thank you very much for tuning into this video. I really appreciate it. If you are new here, hit that little red subscriber button down in the lower right corner before you check out. And if you are a returning subscriber, thanks very much for coming back and putting us over 6,000 subscribers. I really appreciate that. But don't forget to check out our Patreon and Amazon and Sweetwater links down below. My name's Mike DeJong. Thanks for watching RPM.